Okay, we're starting. Okay, so let me go ahead and get this thing started. I'll tell you what we're doing, and then we'll keep going. Okay, so what I'm thinking of doing is this. Revenue management.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, revenue management. Huh? Yeah. No, it's not. No. Oh, right. Okay. Okay, so what we're doing here is this is a vision. So what I want to do is I want to create a document to create a progression in revenue management. So revenue management is one of the biggest opportunities for Bukit Vista. And currently we're doing okay, but I think we're not necessarily going quick enough. So what I want to do is just set a time and place where we can build values, vision, and also progress and knowledge for revenue management. And the reason we're doing it sort of just as the two of us right now is
Chris is not joining us?
Chris has been invited, but
Okay. Oh, I know.
yeah. So the thing is that I need a new sort of track of revenue management to start growing so that we can essentially merge it together with the old track and start growing together. So we want to learn about how to get world price pricing, revenue management standards, and also create a document where other revenue management people can learn what we're doing involved with us. So the formation of a guild. So my proposal is right now we meet once a week, Wednesdays at 4 o'clock. We choose the Bukit Vista 2 room to meet, and we record everything currently on that computer. So that way it doesn't slow the thing down.
Okay.
To do innovation.
So that's the yes.
Yes, the guest over there is actually BB recording. That's a good point.
Okay.
So I'll just call this BB recording. We do this in order to save bandwidth. Otherwise, it really slows down the computers when they're recording and presenting at the same time. Okay, and a few things we want to do is we want to set the new business, old business, and discuss about all kinds of that kind of stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So I'll nominate myself the chair.
Yes.
And
I second that.
Okay, all right, very good. And I'd like to have I'd like to nominate Nili to secretary on this first meeting. So the first order of business is we'll just put the chair and the secretary on meeting team. So that gives us some clarity on what's going on. Okay, so we've already done that. Where do we meet? When we meet? Okay, so that's pretty clear. We'll start from the bottom of new business. And wait, actually, sorry, I violated my own rule. We generally start from old business first, so let's take a look and see what is going on in old business.
Okay.
So we created this document, and I had a discussion with Bayu. He reiterated that we already had this understanding from quite a while back. I think he was kind of disappointed with us. He was like saying, we already do this on squad 2.
Yeah.
But I think the idea is to progress along and gather feedback and also be a place where we can evolve this understanding. For example, today, I just found out a circumstance that I thought was worthwhile to repeat. There was on the high side check this discussion of how to price up a property if it's getting booked too quickly. And today, what I wanted to share was that I did actually find a case where pricing up might not be correctly done if we follow that last formula. And this is why. So today what I was doing was I was checking my beat and I looked at Village Rate to Inda. So I was checking out Village Rate to Inda, and as you can see here, the booking pace is supremely accelerating here. It's getting crazy, right? It's getting booked almost every day, sometimes twice in one day. So that, of course, is, according to our discussions from last time, a high side check. That requires us to consider our pricing a little bit higher. So I went ahead with what we had written before, and then I took a look at the Toki calendar over on this side, and I saw that yes, there are some gaps here in June, and I decided to price them off because they're coming up, and we don't want to oversell. We don't want to underprice those dates. Okay. It's still, the booking window is still pretty far. It's about 2 weeks to 3 weeks away. So then I thought, okay, what I should do is I should raise the price. So that's what I did. I went ahead and I raised the price. Previously, they were discounted as a fire sale. They're selling too quickly now. So now my counteraction was to actually raise the price based on what we had discussed on managing revenue weeks before. But then, what I noticed was this. I noticed that it failed to take into account a certain statistic. And that statistic was the booking heat map.
Yeah.
So then, the Village Vita Inda sits on the squad 1 group. And actually, what we see here is that the first almost 2 weeks of June are pretty slow.
Yeah.
So, I'm thinking that's probably not a good idea to raise the rate now because there is actually not a lot of proven demand for that particular week. In fact, there is no proven demand for that particular week except in squad 3, which is Brooklyn. And this is most likely due to the Muslim holiday during Ramadan. But it seems like the Bali properties are not terribly affected by that. I also look on squad 2 is a little bit different. There seems to be a slight peak in June 3rd. But I just remember squad 2 is mostly guest houses as well. So maybe not an apple-to-apple comparison. So then what I thought was, okay, maybe we should revise this. We should revise this with if their booking pace is too fast. Also, we need to consider the booking window right here. Oh, so I put this alteration in. That the book we should double check on the booking heat map for long booking windows to make sure that the dates are not in a new low spot, so that we don't accidentally do that. So I went through that process of considering that, and I thought, how do we actually make sure that everybody who looks at actually understands this? So I was thinking the only way to do it is really to create a guild and then start creating SLAs for total understanding of this.
Alright.
Alright, so that's why we're here today.
Okay. So I have a question.
Yes, Mrs. Secretary, what's your question?
So when I was practicing or when I was detecting the new leaks in the properties I was taking care of, we talked about booking pace.
Yep.
And then I realized that, and then I tried to do I just tried to make sure that the booking pace, I tried to check booking pace, tried to check inventory on Bukit, and then also I just reflected on Airbnb as well. And then I realized that, the numbers don't match, or rather the dates in sync. And then I went to Bayu, and Bayu said that, yeah, you're looking at booking pace. Booking pace is not checking dates.
Okay. Yep.
Right? So it's only an indication of how well the property is being booked at this moment.
Yes,
right?
that is
So on
correct.
the date of May 17th, if the booking pace shows 2, that means it got 2 bookings, but it could be for future
Yes,
bookings.
that is absolutely true. Yeah.
So in terms of pricing revenue, or rather in terms of pricing strategies and revenue management, is that something that we should be looking at in the first place?
Oh, yes.
Or do you think it's just inventory and price that we should just narrow it down?
I think booking pace is the fundamental keystone of everything here because booking pace indicates, after all, at the end of the day, what we do is we optimize ranking on Airbnb. We don't really know, and there is no clear way to measure ranking. And the reason for that is because ranking depends on the person who is going and searching for Airbnb. So if you search, for example, on Airbnb, you'll see a different ranking than when I search, as will a German guest, as will a different guest.
Yeah.
So we used to do this. The previous evolution is we would look on Airbnb and try to determine our ranking. If the ranking was good, then we would say, okay, all right, we're doing okay, we're doing fine. But, however, because that method is, one, it's a lot of work, it's very difficult to do that. You have to come through pages and pages to find your ranking. And 2, it's inconsistent depending upon whoever is searching. We then decided that the best way to understand if we were ranking well was based on booking pace. So if we were ranking well, then of course people are booking, and we would see bookings happening. If we're not ranking well, that would indicate that we would slip below somewhere, not just maybe in the ranking, but somewhere maybe even in the conversion funnel. That would indicate that we stopped progress, and that would be the most important thing to fix.
So then I see this as 2 separate things.
Mhm.
See, booking pace determines like what I call a base price. So how much should you be pricing your and whether you can increase your price
Yes.
month on month, right? Or
Mhm.
based on the season.
Okay.
But then what we are doing right now is that we're detecting whether or not we should be changing prices within a 30-day window.
Yes, essentially yes.
So which is so I think so that's why I think the measures should be different because what we're trying to do is that our parameters are different and it should be different because we're looking within a 30-day window.
Okay.
And to decide whether or not we should change pricing depends on how much inventory you are left with, right?
Mhm.
And also at the same time, what is the price that you have right now?
Okay, so we should just look at occupancy in that particular setup. We should see if we have a lot of occupancy, or if we have a lot of inventory left over and we need to sell it, then we probably should sell low. If we
Yeah.
don't have, Yeah, that would actually be kind of an
Which is-
interesting.
Which is why I say I think not that booking pace is not the right, it's not a consideration but I think in this case when we are detecting revenue needs, you only have to look at inventory and current price.
Okay, so it's a
But-
request to simplify.
Yeah, request to simplify, but I think you need to consider booking pace when we're doing projections maybe.
Okay.
And I think so. That's something that I want to I put up in the paper for
Okay.
up to
Let's go
discussion
ahead and
later.
take a look at that. All right, so revenue management. So let's see, practice of tracking the performance of these projections there.
Oh no, the first one.
Oh, the first one.
I mean the second one.
Okay,
one
the second
above.
one.
Yeah, the one.
All right, so by you to start reading and understand the monthly revenue track using projections, like Chris, each have different ways of reaching these projections. Can we design the best framework and use this across the squad? The occupancy should be 80%, the price should be, okay, all right.
So when I first came in, we've always talked about owners harping on daily pricing. We should shift the conversation to monthly revenue.
Yes, that's correct.
So therefore, we decided, as MD, we decided that we will do a projection based on monthly revenue, and that's all owners need to care about. Right?
Yes.
But as I work on both squads, I realize buying has one way of doing it. Chris has another way of doing it. Chris is here. But so, and I'm a little bit confused as to how we should go about doing this.
We can have both ways of doing it actually. So what I'd like is actually to have, this is a great A/B test. This is a great test at saying which method actually is going to bring in best results. So in the sense that this is the whole idea of multiple squads too as well. When you have multiple squads, everyone is free to choose their own, let's say, method. And then it becomes a race, right? Then it becomes a competition. Because I choose to use a 4-stroke engine, you choose to, I used to use a V8, you want to use a V4, or whatever it is. And so let's put it to the race. If there's a squad, because every squad, we either win together or we fail together. So if a squad consistently underperforms due to, let's say, bad revenue management practices, that becomes very visible. And then it creates the adoption of whatever the technique, and it creates almost like this magical flow that it's already kind of built into the way we operate. So let's say, for example, revenue. If we don't hit our revenue target, then the entire company doesn't issue company bonuses. So then the guys that did hit their revenue targets always go, well, why the hell are you not pulling your weight?
Okay.
And so I think in that particular sense, it will be interesting to actually see what is the two methodologies and which one will work more effectively to win the right revenue projections. On the pricing analysis of the properties in the vicinity, I've never been a huge fan of that because it's really hard to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always new supply coming on that we cannot see, and there's prices that might change tomorrow because other people are actors in this game too. So what I've noticed is fundamentally maybe a better way. There are more accurate ways. We can trust the validity of our own data. We can know that our own data is probably correct. So then at some point, if we see that we're slowing down, our growth isn't going the way it is, then we just take action to then create that growth to happen again. Because let's say, for example, on this, if I have to measure how many other available properties are out there in the ecosystem, it becomes really difficult because anybody can open a guest house, anybody can decide to give a last minute offer, and we wouldn't detect that. But if I can see that I'm not selling at what I wanted to sell at, I'm not growing at what I wanted to grow at, that's an internal statistic, and then I can do something to do that. And I don't think too many other companies are actually doing that. And so that means that they're not essentially competing for ground. The total amount of growth is, I think, a limited there's a total limited finite supply of reservations that will happen in a market.
Yeah.
So if we continue to grow, that means we're getting a little bit more than somebody else in the market. So the key statistic is growth.
So if I had to do a workshop with this or do a paper on this, like a manual, right? How do we then start this? Because I think this is where I fail to understand from the two revenue managers.
Oh, well, I guess the way to do it is choose whichever side you believe in the most. And our goal is
We're recording.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Here's the idea, I think. I think the idea of 80% occupancy as a baseline is actually a pretty good idea.
Okay, then I
Whatever
can
we do,
understand.
whatever we do, we should get 80% occupancy, and
Yeah,
it can be disregarding the booking pace somewhat.
yeah,
I still think booking pace is important because fundamentally our ranking is always affected by booking pace. So even if, let's say, if the booking pace dies, then nothing seems to help, right? Because we've lost ranking.
yeah.
But the booking pace is still going, and we can still have like some margins. Even if we sell a room night in December, then that means our product is still being pushed up to the top of the rankings, even if we sell last minute. So that improves our chances for selling.
Okay, so I can understand that booking page gives you is an indication of visibility.
Yes, indication of
Okay.
visibility, indication of success.
But visibility does not always translate to sales.
No, no,
Right? We
no.
all know that.
Because there's other factors. There could be
Correct.
conversion loss through content. There could be conversion loss through reservations not being processed correctly. So yes, there's leaks that can happen.
I do think that this is a metric that's more closely related to content.
It could be also with reservations. We've seen plenty of reservations, as illustrated by Chris today, that are not necessarily handled in the best way.
Okay.
So-
Or maybe company-wide, sorry.
Yeah.
Because in visibility, it should be everybody's, right?
Yes.
We should definitely get high visibility because it depends on booking, it depends on price change, it depends on inquiries from
Yes.
a multitude of different factors which we have not quite wrapped our heads around. So, so going back to projections,
Mhm.
for market building is always a question of like, I have to understand the process in order for me to explain it to the owners confidently.
Right.
If I don't understand the process, I won't. I understand the idea of 80% occupancy, right? So
Yes.
always says our goal is to hit 80% occupancy,
Mhm.
regardless of whatever price we have to sell it.
Yes. Okay. I would agree on that.
So-
That I think is a good metric.
So, but the projections that I'm talking about here are monthly revenue projections. So
Mm.
at the end of the day, it has to be 80% times something,
Something.
in order to get a something, right?
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
At the current moment, are we talking about projections on a monthly basis or on an annual basis?
Monthly.
That becomes a very difficult. So the abstractions become the ability to answer that question becomes more difficult the more finite we get. If we want to get, let's say, the exact daily rate right, then that's difficult because we essentially have to pinpoint exactly down into that narrow funnel what that is. A monthly projection is easier, but an annual projection is actually probably the easiest. So if you say, for example, you zoom out and tell the owner, my annual projection for you, which we've done with Villa Bahagia, is about 240 million. So in some months you're up and they're going to be, okay, that's great. Some months you're down, they're going to be, okay, well, it balances out with the previous month. And that allows so much more freedom to do, and also it sort of abstracts away seasonality too as well.
It's true, but then it also becomes very abstract in the minds of our clients, right?
Not necessarily, Dominic, because a lot of clients want to just think of it as, let's say, a bulk business, right? As if I lease this to you, how much could I lease it to you for? The idea of a
Okay.
virtual lease.
But eventually, so now the question becomes, even though we do an annual projection,
Mhm.
we still have to calculate throughout the seasons or throughout
Yes,
the months
yes.
how we're going to do, right? So
Yes.
we still have to have a calculation.
And that calculation, oh, go ahead.
I could probably bring it down to not say annual because I think that becomes a very big and abstract number. There's no way for us to, and in fact, there's no way for us to measure whether the practice is right or not.
Okay, this is
So we
how.
only have to wait until basically like 12 months later to know whether we are correct.
Yes, but we can say, all right, let's take the annual, let's split it down into an average and see if we're above or below the average line. That
Oh.
be reasonable?
Mm,
But say if we're
I mean,
behind.
it makes. I mean, I can picture it in my mind, but I'm just thinking, where does this? How does?
Oh crap, the data just crashed.
Oh.
We made $1 million this month. What happened? Some random, a
I'm still
random.
fixing the.
Oh, okay. Do what?
Yes, yeah. Sorry, just talking around.
So a way I could try to do this is this. Let's say, for example, you bring a new partner. They're in Jubra. So we can take a look at, let's say, Villa Arinbro. It's a 4-bedroom property, and you can kind of see right here what it makes every month. Right? You can see that, okay, the average line for that is around $2,400 per month.
Mhm.
So the annual projection is just that times 12, and
Yeah.
then every month you just see below below or above average. This is fairly convincing for some owners because sometimes you have a bad month and then you know next month you should do a little bit better. Sometimes you have a great month and then that will carry you over during the next month to do better. But it also creates this consciousness that every month you should be able to get a certain amount of revenue because that's our consciousness too as well. We want to make sure our company every month gets a consistent amount of income. And so what we're doing with an annual projection, in my belief, is that we're creating this idea for the owner every month you should have a certain amount of income so that they don't get, let's say, bad cycles. A bad cycle would look a bit more like something that does really, maybe IU9. So IU9 we work with, and this is their range, right? So on some months, a lot, on some months a little, some months a lot, some months a little, so it's very inconsistent. And this doesn't spell very well for us, and it doesn't spell very well for the owner too. So when we talk about, like, say, an annual package, what we're looking at is essentially equivalent property, what it gets, and can we essentially get that baseline met every month. So before, like, for example, these months over here, the owner doesn't even see that that's a problem because they go, I just care about what I get per day. And if you don't sell anything per day, then you even seem to care. So now we're saying, okay, every month you should be able to get this much, and that's a much better conversation. That then sends feedback to our revenue management team to start looking at this and start caring about this more frequently. That way we'll be able to hit it. It's to essentially create a feedback cycle that creates all around understanding in the entire marketplace that there should be a annual figure that is sufficient enough for me to care about investing in Bukit Vista or letting Bukit Vista manage my property. And I should be able to make that progression on a steady pace every month. There are going to be months that are high.
Okay.
There's going to be months that are low.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand what you mean. Okay, so I guess this solves one part of the problem.
Yes.
Right? And then if we distill this down, we can bring it into a more granular level. There is still the question of how much do I price this?
Yes.
There's always that golden question.
The
How do revenue if say for example I now wear two hats, right?
Yeah.
And I start practicing revenue and I start becoming a revenue manager and I actively go in and change pricing.
Mhm.
I don't want to be I need to have I need to understand, is there a formula, is there a practice, or is there something that we do now
Mhm.
for me to adopt or
Yes.
rather adapt? Yeah.
And that's why we're doing the observations and improvements. So the idea of this is actually pretty, how would I say? I think Bayu even said this, there's a lot of analog in revenue management, meaning it's not exactly digital. It's not like if A, then B, then C, then D.
Yeah, yeah.
There's quite a lot of considerations that go into it. And what we're trying to do by documenting all the revenue management changes and such is to increase that awareness and increase that intuition. So that, let's say, for example, you just put up a change of what you think is right, and then tag the revenue manager that you're closest to, and say, your thoughts, please. Such as what we're doing right now. So what we're doing now is whenever I make a change like this, for example, I tag Chris, I say, your thoughts, and then we have dialogue about it. And in our dialogue, we're both mutually getting to understand what is correct price, and what is the correct timing, and what is the correct action to do that. We're also doing this. We want to document and create that program together so that as we're going through it every day, we have more clarity and more focus and more branches to decide, okay, in this particular case, we should probably do that. In that particular case, we should probably do that. Yes, I know, there can be too many branches, there can be TMI at a certain point. Or not.
I'm just thinking it's just, right now, what I'm hearing is that it is just based on intuition.
Not exactly based on intuition, but based on these principles and corrected by data. For example, we wrote this yesterday, and then we saw that there was a leak, essentially, in this detecting revenue thing, where we could accidentally price up on a case where there is a low season condition. And that supersedes the previous way of thinking.
Yeah.
And this is something that I think we as a group need to kind of process together and understand and get multiple reports on. These become essentially SLAs from multiple rounds of experience and from multiple iterations of going through different cases. And once we get that, we can program that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So can I make a data request whereby you have I wrote it down, let me see, and before I forget. Can we have a data request where it, when we have a graph on Tableau that reflects price change, right? So as and when the price changes,
Oh, wow, that'd be great. Yes,
right?
I think that would be a great
So
request.
then
Yeah.
we don't, because now there's no way of documenting the
You're right.
price. How does it perform?
In terms of the number of bookings that
Yeah,
happen.
correct.
Okay.
So
I think that's a great idea.
yeah. So I think that will give us some clarity around the observations that we're doing, and I agree with you, but it's just that I can't.
We do have it.
You
We do have it, kind of. Okay, and and why I say that is this. Because if you go on, let's say, for example, I'll give you an example. If everything is done correctly, there's no tableau for it, but there is evidence of that.
Yeah.
And I think it's here. So what I'd like to direct your attention to is the trade to India card. So trade to India was modified a few days ago, and we should be able to see actually a sequence of change. So let's see if that happened. Okay, so this was the booking pace graph up until April 26th,
Yes.
right? And
That's
then,
the booking pace?
yes, this was the booking pace. So there was 2 bookings on March 16th, there's 1 booking on March 19th, and then a sequence of bookings, and then this was the booking pace, right? Okay, so that was the booking pace. Then there was a pricing adjustment, and this was the latest pricing adjustment. Chris dropped the price to 205.
In the next
For
30
15?
days?
Yes, for June, he put a fire sale there. So he went from what I think 300 to 215,
Alright.
right? And then I'm not sure if he maybe May too as well. Oh wait, we can check.
But booking pace is could be for future bookings.
Yes ma'am. Yes
So
ma'am.
if you didn't make the price change in those future dates, then
Oh, do we know that the price
Then,
change
yeah.
happened on the particular dates?
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
made the price change too.
I want to see how effective the price change really is, right? That's what we're trying to figure out.
Oh god. Okay. All right. So let's see. I can still measure that. I think.
Okay.
So the way I would measure that is then I would go over here to Tunita Inda. Okay, so there is no elegant way yet, but I'll show you the inelegant way first. So I would go to Tunita Inda, I would go set up the butler paste, and the next thing I'm going to look at, I'll look at filter for booking paste.
So look at the booking pace.
Okay, so question 1 is essentially, was the booking pace affected after we made the price changes? This was the booking pace before, and this was the booking pace after. And I can clearly see that something happened. So
Yeah.
before that, there were large gaps between the booking pace.
Yeah.
After we changed, then the gaps shortened out.
Yeah.
So there seems to be some sort of thing happening that occurred. Now the second question is, of course, did that happen actually for dates where we changed the prices? So
Yeah.
let's take a look. So the dates where we changed the prices were on June and May. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then we go over here to the Village Data in the graph,
Yeah.
and we try to see these happened in June, but late June, right? Check it is June 23rd,
Okay.
and then this one was June
Yeah.
3rd, so that happened.
Yeah.
This one is June 8th, and that
so
happened,
June.
and then August. So there was 2 bookings, but you see what happened here? This is pretty interesting. Yeah, this triggered this, which triggered this, which then triggered this. This is actually a confirmation of what I just spoke about,
Yeah.
like my theory, right? Which is as soon as you get bookings, you get rankings.
Yeah.
As soon as you get rankings, you get a cascade of more bookings.
Mm.
And so we broke that cycle right here.
Yeah.
That cycle was going very badly. We
Yeah.
broke the cycle, we got the booking pace up,
Yeah.
and we got a cascade. I bet you right now we are ranked really high up, and whatever we price at probably will get seen by more people and have a higher probability of getting booked.
We changed the topic numbers were before June, right?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
So it seems to indicate that changing prices for June resulted in bookings for June.
We brought the price down.
We brought the price down. We brought the price down. We documented exactly when it happened through the observations.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I may, so we observed in, this was actually a great, I love this thing because since we started using it, we functioned much more effectively, I think, as a company.
Yeah.
So what we did was Kathy actually brought up and triggered this to us.
Yeah.
So yeah, Kathy said, why am I not getting any June bookings? So then I looked at it, I confirmed that booking pace was slow,
Yeah.
and it was really empty, and there was a revenue risk. So I asked Chris to follow up.
Yeah.
Chris came back within an hour with the changes, and within one day we got a booking for the days that she had previously been empty. So that I think is one case of where, I mean, it doesn't spell for all cases, but there is correlation between changing the price and getting the booking,
Yeah.
and affecting the booking pace and creating a positive feedback loop.
Yeah, everything's a virtuous cycle.
Yes, it's a virtuous cycle.
I agree.
The thing that gets you bookings is how many times did you get bookings yesterday?
I will clean this up. But
Yes.
I will put
Okay.
myself-
All right, so great. Could we go on slightly over time? Would you like a time extension on this?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's do another 15 minutes then. So, okay, does this kind of help with understanding what's going on currently?
Yes, I mean, it's still a very manual transaction, but then I from the license, and for us now, it's still practice.
Yes, I think we need to
Right,
agree.
so then it may need to go on the.
What does the patrol look like? What essentially is the program for the patrol?
Because right now we're changing things and then we're just changing, we're just being very reactive, but we're not actually recording any information. We're not really recording the
What we're doing is a markdown strategy. So I looked at the revenue management guidebook, and essentially we're constantly doing markdown strategies. We're setting high,
Yeah.
and then when the date approaches, we mark down, we mark
Yeah.
down, we mark down.
Mhm.
And so it is not necessarily the worst way, because we found that this is actually pretty effective. The people who plan ahead, for villas in particular, are tending to pay more. They want to pay more because they essentially have a free block of time that fulfills their plans. People who are coming in last minute generally will take whatever is on the plate, whatever is available. So, and also it's a balance of risk too. I know a lot of people will book last minute, but the risk for us to have unsold inventory, I think, is greater than the benefit of getting
Yeah.
a slightly higher price for a last minute sale. Say for example a villa. We can go the opposite. We can go from 300 to 400, and somebody may be looking for a last minute deal. We'll go ahead and book that. But those, I think, are very, very rare emergency cases where somebody would make a last minute, less than 3 day booking for 8 people at a high price because they just absolutely need a villa. And that doesn't work that way usually for groups of people who are traveling. But it might work for guest houses in the future because guest houses tend to get booked more spontaneously, and we have noticed that the booking window behavior for a lot of people is shrinking. They're looking more and more like the way you book an Uber or a Lyft or a Grab. So it could be actually a good strategy to raise the prices on the day before because that's when you get a flush of a lot of people. But the problem with that, with raising prices, is if nobody else is raising prices, then now all of a sudden you look like shit, right? So then you're sort of stuck. Either the entire market has to do it all together,
Yes, it's
or-
a collective effort,
or nobody does it.
yeah.
So we're sort of in that situation right now where we've noticed that markdown strategy is currently still one of the most well-performing strategies for managing the marketplace.
Yeah.
Okay,
Great.
let's go on to the next topic. So I'd like to. Oh, okay. Wait. Oh, something about. Let's see. Turn off. So tell myself to confident on the last year. Okay. Bring it key. This is still outside. Oh, yeah. Tamunya udah pergi jam 7 akan balik. Bisa masuk.
Sudah.
Oh, sudah ya? Okay. Alright, great.
Tamunya belum masuk, tapi anunya udah selesai.
Oh, okay. Sangat baik. Masih. Oh, crap. I just clicked off the video. Okay, I guess that's it.